Hey everyone, Carlos here from ADifficultTruth. We are trying a couple of new things, so if you guys like what you see, make sure you smack that thumbs up button. If you don't, make sure you smack that thumbs down button. We really appreciate any feedback that you guys give us. Today's video, we're going to be addressing the Working Families Party endorsement to Elizabeth Warren. Now, before we get into this is not a shill for any one particular candidate. This is not an attack on any one particular candidate per se, but I think that there's a lot that needs to be addressed. First and foremost, the Working Families Party did endorse Elizabeth Warren, which for her campaign is really good. I suspect that it's going to strengthen her campaign. She's right now firmly in second place, right behind Joe Biden. And I think one of the major things that has to be addressed is kind of the attitude some of the vocal minority has been having towards this in the Sanders campaign. I know there's been a lot of outrage and just the attitude that's been coming out of some of these vocal minority supporters is very off-putting, and the whole point is for the movement as a whole to succeed. And you're gonna have to build a coalition. You're gonna have to have allies. It can't just be Bernie or bust. It just cannot be that way, because then nothing gets done. I believe in the progressive movement as a whole, and I believe when Bernie says not me, us, I think he's, or I interpret it as him saying he wants the movement to succeed with or without him. And obviously, ever since 2016, a lot of the issues that he's been talking about are more mainstream and are being said by more candidates, which is good. We have more candidates talking about climate change. We have more candidates open to the idea of Medicare for all. We have more candidates talking about income inequality, so on and so forth. So that's what I think he meant, or that's how I perceive that message of, or that slogan as not me, us. And we also cannot idolize just one particular political candidate. That's just dangerous and detrimental. Detrimental to the progressive movement, because I want to see it succeed. And the way to do that is you got to take your wins. You got to use the allies that you have and get as much done as possible rather than nothing. Because right now the top two progressive candidates, and I'm sorry, but voting records and just policy proposals are the way I judge these things. And in my opinion, the top two progressive candidates are Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. If Elizabeth Warren ends up being even way more ahead, wouldn't it make sense to move 8 steps forward, 9 steps forward, maybe not the full 10, but wouldn't it make sense to move those steps forward? Oh, I mean, because she honestly, in my opinion, and just policy proposals, overwhelmingly agrees with most of my politics, and I consider myself a progressive. Like, I agree with Medicare for all. I want money out of politics. I definitely think income inequality needs to be addressed. I think climate change needs to be addressed. That's one of my big issues. And she overwhelmingly agrees with I'd say, I mean, she really does. So the point is, I see her as an ally to the movement. She can advance the progressive agenda more than Joe Biden. Let's just leave it at that. Because if we cannot rally and behind the strongest progressive candidate, if we cannot form a coalition behind the strongest progressive candidate, we're going to get none of it done. We're going to hand over the nomination to Joe Biden. And then, consequently, we're going to hand over the election to Donald Trump. This is the same exact scenario that happened in, well, almost exact same scenario that happened in 2016. If Bernie Sanders starts surging and he becomes basically the strongest progressive candidate once the rest of them start dropping off, once we're down to just 4 candidates, and it's obvious that he has the shot, then wouldn't it make sense to push your weight behind Bernie Sanders at that time? I mean, obviously Bernie Sanders agrees overwhelmingly with most of my politics. I would absolutely want him to succeed. I would absolutely want Elizabeth Warren to succeed. So this whole outrage and this just attitude towards what's been happening with the whole working families endorsement is not conducive to the progressive movement. We have to be, first of all, we have to be kind to each other. We're on the same team. I mean, we're on the same team. We want the overwhelming amount of things to be done as one. We agree on these things. Why not work together? Why not get even if someone, and I'm not speaking about a political candidate, even if someone agrees with 60% of my politics, I would absolutely work with them on that 60%, rather than just isolate a potential ally and get none of that done if I was running or if I was trying to build a coalition. I mean, it just makes sense from a pragmatic point of view. I am not linked to any one particular political candidate. I think, in my opinion, that is dangerous. We see what happens with Donald Trump. I mean, he's a demagogue. But I do believe in the movement as a whole, and I want it to succeed, and I am worried that this whole attitude towards what's been happening is going to be off-putting, and it's going to end up splitting the progressive movement, and it's just going to end up failing, which at that point, I mean, we're going to end up with nothing of what we wanted, no bargaining power whatsoever. So something to think about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so that you get notifications when our videos go live for you. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/ADifficultTruth. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ADifficultTruthOfficial. You can listen to the podcast at soundcloud.com/ADifficultTruth. And now you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/ADifficultTruth. Come be a part of the conversation. I'm going to leave all the links in the description below, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. See ya!